Thanks for coming out on a cold night. We're here for the College Credit Plus meeting, and this is an annual meeting that the state requires every year. I think Mr. Spurlock, you've been here at least once, haven't you, for this meeting? Okay. We have some guests that I'll introduce at this time, and they'll come back and talk later. We have Heather Best from YSU. She's here representing YSU for College Credit Plus, and we have Robert Ritchell over here from Kent State Trumbull. And we're going to go ahead and get started with our presentation. Let me get all my gadgets and toys out here. This is a slideshow from the state that I'm just going to kind of follow along, and I got to get my goggles on. My name's Mr. Kernan, by the way. I'm one of the guidance counselors. Mr. Nicholson's out there. And we also have Miss McDougall, one of the math teachers that teaches a couple College Credit Plus classes in the math department through Kent State. Okay, what is College Credit Plus? College Credit Plus is a dual enrollment program. You could take college classes and high school classes at the same time. Students are eligible to take CCP classes from grades 6 through 11. And students currently in grades 6 through 11 are eligible to apply for the program, but then students in grades 7 through 12 can take the classes. We've never had any 7th graders take any classes. I don't believe we've had any 8th graders take any college classes. We have had 1 or 2 9th graders do College Credit Plus, but mainly it is recommended for our upperclassmen, juniors and seniors, and we'll get to some details here. Okay. Students in grades 7 through 12 you can apply for the program and get accepted, and there's certain requirements that you need, okay? And those assessments could be anything from ACT scores through AccuPlacer, through ALEX testing, and I'm sure the representatives will get to those things in a little bit. Okay. Must be an Ohio resident to participate in CCP, and basically if you take a college course through CCP and it's a 3-semester-hour course, you get 1 high school credit, okay? You must pass the course to get the credit, okay? And I don't feel comfortable going off this, so I'm going to go off the block a little bit. We have high school classes taught here on our campus where you can get high school credit and college credit class, okay? So that's one way to take CCP. We also have students that enroll into CCP, get accepted, and then they take their college classes on campus, okay? We also have students that have taken online college classes. So either way, they're getting college credit and high school credit, okay? So let's see where that lands me. You may take classes during the summer, spring, and fall semesters. There's certain deadlines for all those, okay? You may take classes at the high school, on the college campus, or online, just like I said. You must be eligible to take College Credit Plus based on assessment and exam scores, okay? These are some of the examples of how the students will be assessed on whether they get into the program or not, okay? And YSU and Kent will give you their specific requirements. The bottom line is, to get accepted, you must be college ready, okay? So if you're not college ready through any of these assessments, then you won't get into the program. Okay, if a student's scores are not college level, other conditions may be considered depending on the exam scores and if the student has an overall GPA of 3.0 or a recommendation usually from a teacher or a guidance counselor. You must apply for admission to the university where you would like to do your college classes from. Okay, you must take care of all the paperwork and meet the deadlines to be accepted. And one important note is that the college has the final decision on whether the student gets into CCP. The guidance counselors in all the schools are basically the facilitator of the paperwork and getting the information out to the students and the parents. The college will have the final decision on whether the student will get in. Okay, once the student gets accepted into CCP, then there's some decision making to be made on what classes to take, okay? So we have a small group here, so we can kind of go through this. Luke, I'm just curious, what are you interested in possibly doing for CCP? Okay, and are you interested in doing Miss McDougall's math or taking a class outside, like at the campus or online? Okay, that's the most convenient thing to do is take the class here. And which class, what math class are you in now? You're in Algebra 2, so you're looking to do Trig Calc for college credit. Okay. So, you know, that's kind of an easy one because we offer it here. All right? Now, these two individuals are part of a process of sitting down with you and meeting with each student and saying, okay, you've been accepted. Now let's talk about what you want to take. And every student might be a little different on that, depending on what they want. Do we have any students interested in taking college English? Anybody offhand? Now, are you interested in doing Miss Marsh's English on our campus here during the school day? Okay, all right. Anybody interested in taking classes off our campus, on a college campus, or online at this point? And that's something that you don't have to decide right now, but again, this would be a part of a team decision, including your parent, yourself, and guidance counselors and advisors at the university. Okay? All right, what courses can a student take? Again, we'll help you determine what you want to take. A lot of courses will satisfy graduation requirements here. So when you take that Trig Calc class, you're going to be a junior next year. So you took Algebra 1 as an 8th grader. Okay, so that'll meet your, not only will you get college credit for that, but that's going to meet your 4th high school math requirement as well. Okay, and Miss McDougall's back there. Miss McDougall, I'm correct in saying they're going to get, if Luke gets accepted into Trig Calc, he's going to get a college algebra credit and a trigonometry credit through Kent. Algebra for Calc and a trig credit. And both those classes are 3 semester hour classes. So if you successfully did that, you'd have 6 semester hours under your belt for college, and you would have earned 2 credits of high school math next year. So you'd get your 4th credit for math, and then you have an extra one that would go towards an elective credit. So that's kind of how that would work. Some classes that you'd like to take, maybe, there's certain prerequisites for. So based on ACT scores, based on other assessments that the college may give you, you may be eligible or not eligible to take certain level courses based on prerequisites. I'm going to let the universities talk about that. Once a student completes the first 15 credit hours in level 1, he or she can move to level 2. So basically, you can't jump to advanced classes. Just like normal college students, you have to take the level 1 courses first. Okay. Courses that you can take are, let's see, a private course with one-on-one instruction. These are not courses you're not allowed to take. Not allowed to take a course with one-on-one instruction. You're not allowed to take courses with high fees. You're not allowed to take study abroad courses. Not allowed to take PE courses, anything pass-fail. And you're not allowed to have any remedial courses or religious courses, okay? So those are the classes you're not allowed to take. So again, I want to reiterate something. Any course you take is going to go on your high school transcript. So how many, Xander, you're in 7th grade going in 8th grade. So you do not have any courses on your high school transcripts. Do I have any other junior high students? Okay, what grade are you in? Proctor, right? Okay, Kit, right? All right. So you're in 8th grade. You'll be in 9th grade, though, right? So right now, you taking algebra? Okay, so that's first class and phys ed, right? Those 2 classes are going on your high school transcript. So next year, if you take high school classes, those are all going to be on your high school transcript. Now, you're smart kids, or you wouldn't be here. If you got a C in that college class, that's on your high school transcript. So now you've started your high school permanent record with a 2.0. And looking at your grades earlier, I think you probably have aspirations of doing well and trying to get really high grades, maybe even valedictorian, things like this. So you have to make sure that this is a good decision for you, because it's almost like a catch-22. Your parents are sitting there saying, man, it'd be nice if we could get a bunch of credits under his belt and save money, because this program's free. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, the school pays for all the tuition, but we want to get some credits, but we don't want to ruin your chance for having a high GPA, which leads to possible scholarships when they do go off to college. So these are things you have to weigh. Okay, we don't have weighted GPA right now, so all our classes are weighted the same, so the college class will be weighted the same. We've had students, again, we have 4 credits of English required for graduation. So for Kent, we offer College Writing 1 and College Writing 2 here on our campus through Mrs. Marsh. If you took College Writing 1, okay, that would go down as one of your English credits, okay? And if you took College Writing 2, there's another English credit. And generally, College Writing 1 is first semester, College Writing 2 is second semester. So in 1 year, you could get 2 high school credits and 6 semester hour credits from taking College Writing 1 and 2 on our campus. You could also take that class online. You could also go to Kent Trumbull's campus to take it. And the same goes for YSU. You may hear me talk a little bit more tonight about Kent because we offer a couple subjects on our campus. YSU, you're welcome to go to YSU as well and do the same thing. We just don't have any current certified teachers through YSU to do the College Credit Plus. But if you got accepted to CCP, YSU, you could take classes online or on their campus. Right now, we just happen to offer a couple classes through Kent Trumbull on our campus. Okay, you are allowed to take up to 30 semester credit hours per year, including high school only courses. So there's a formula. Basically, you're not allowed to take over the 30 semester credit hours, or you have to start paying yourself for the classes. Okay? You're allowed to earn up to 120 credits for college while you're in grades 7 through 12. And generally, that's usually a bachelor's degree, okay? And we've had a lot of kids get decent amount of credits, but we've never had anybody get that many for sure. Okay, you can read all this. What are the differences between high school and college, especially for some of you younger students with parents here? For example, Xander, if your parents decide you want to do this, and you decide you want to do this, here's the deal. This goes for everybody. That student will be enrolled in a college class, and they will be expected to do all the assignments and everything on time, just like any other college student that's enrolled in that class. There's not going to be professors calling your parents and saying, hey, Xander didn't come to class, or Xander missed an assignment. It is what it is. If you don't meet the expectations of the class, then you will fail. And if you fail, then the parent will end up paying for the class, okay? So specifically, in high school and junior high, we give tests all the time, periodically throughout the week. You know, we'll give you an assessment on what we've been talking about. In college, they're going to wait till midterms to give you a test sometime. And then the next test is going to be the final exam at the end of the year. So you only have a couple opportunities to prove your knowledge in that class, and if you do poorly, then your grade's going to suffer. Okay, the study time required for high school is less than college. So if you get enrolled in one of these college classes, be prepared to spend a lot of time studying and doing homework compared to traditional classes. Okay, high school, your out-of-class research is less than the college classes. So if you're involved in a lot of extracurricular activities, I know we have some athletes here, might be some band members, people involved in different clubs. You're going to be expected to do out-of-class research and a lot of time doing extra assignments, so be prepared. Okay, we already talked about this. Fewer tests. Okay. Difference between high school and college. In high school and junior high, your parents are involved closely with teachers, administrators, guidance counselors. In college, you're on your own. Don't bring your mom and dad in to see the professor. Okay? If you get enrolled into this program, you're responsible for your grade, and you're responsible for taking care of any questions that you have with a professor. Okay? What are the benefits of enrolling in CCP? You can earn high school and college credits at the same time. Students can get a head start on college degrees or certificates. Obviously, that's an advantage. Okay? Some of the students that go to campus will get to experience campus life a little bit. So they get a jump start on what it's like to be a college student. And obviously, probably the number one reason is students can save tuition and textbook costs because you don't pay for the textbook as well. Okay? And as we know, college costs are very high and expensive. I just am finishing up my last son of myself getting rid of his college. So, what happens if you don't perform? Okay? So there's probably a lot of other things that I could tell you, but the bottom line is if you fail a class, not only is that going on your high school transcripts, it's going on your college transcripts, and you're going to have to reimburse the school for the cost of the tuition, okay? So you have to be ready to be involved in the program. You have to commit to it and succeed, okay? I'm sure that the reps might talk a little bit more about that. You'll get placed on CCP probation. Bottom line is, if you get enrolled, make sure you do well. There's a lot of probation stuff here. Dismissal sounds harsh. Okay, the appeal process. What are the expenses for College Credit Plus? There's no cost to the student and families for tuition, required fees, and books. If you happen to want to enroll in a different university other than YSU or Kent Trumbull, then you probably need to see me specifically privately. You are eligible to attend just about any school in Ohio. A private school, there may be some costs to the parent, though. The reason why I have YSU and Kent Trumbull here are basically we have a relationship formed with these two universities, and they're also the closest universities. If some of our students want to drive there and take classes, they can do that. If you need to go and take a class on campus, any type of parking is at your expense. Transportation costs with your vehicle and gas is all your expense. Okay? Each university has support services for college students, and if you are a high school student enrolled in CCP, you are eligible for those support services, such as tutoring. If you're struggling in a class and you would like some tutoring for that class, there'll be some support services available to you for free, okay? So whatever the services available for all college students, you would have those services available to you as a CCP student. The classes you take for CCP will count toward your athletic eligibility, and there's a formula that we follow for that. And basically, we haven't had any problems with students meeting the athletic eligibility formula as far as the number of classes they need. There's a website that you can go to. A question that's often asked: will these classes be transferred? Okay, and what generally, and I'll let these guys speak to this a little bit. But what I know of is most state schools to state schools within Ohio, your level 1 classes will all transfer, okay? So if you're looking at possibly attending a university outside the state of Ohio in your future, then maybe what you could do is go to this website and check this class I'm about to take. Is it going to transfer to that university, okay? What does being college ready mean? Okay. First of all, you better have your social, emotional state of mind in the right place. Okay. You got to be able to make good decisions. You need to make good time management decisions. If you're taking a class on the college campus, you're going to have an opportunity as you're driving to college to get off and exit and not attend that class. And we'll never know. And I tell this story every year. I had a young lady who had probably about, I would say, 30 semester hours of classes under her belt. And the last semester, she was at Kent Trumbull, and it was spring semester, and she was taking an English class that was going to give her her senior English credit, and she just stopped going. So not only did she fail that class, but she also did not graduate. And this is a gal that was really smart, had a ton of college credits under her belt, and she never did graduate from high school. Now that's an extreme story, and her support system at home wasn't very good, but she was a smart kid. But spring fever hit her, and she made bad decisions. When you take these college classes, especially the ones off campus, you're on your own. You have to be mentally ready to stick to it and commit to it, okay? Okay, some deadlines. April 1st, you must, you got a piece of paper for a letter of intent to participate. If you leave this meeting and you think, yeah, I want to do this, and you talk to your parents, I want to participate in College Credit Plus, then you need to turn that letter of intent into your guidance counselor. I am the guidance counselor for the last names A through K, and Mr. Nicholson is the guidance counselor L through Z. Okay? Now, once you turn that letter of intent in, then you need to start doing the applications to whatever school you want to attend. How many of you have an ACT test under your belt? How many people have taken the ACT? Okay, so if you want to participate in CCP, you're going to want to take the ACT test. Okay, so that'll be, the next one's February. I'm trying to think of the deadline. Anybody know the deadline on the? Yeah. Oh. Okay. So you're going to want to get on the ACT website and get registered for the next ACT test if you're interested in doing the CCP. Okay. Well, you talked about deadlines a little bit more specific for them. Okay. Right. Right. I'll let you touch base on that. Okay. Okay. I generally don't follow the slideshow as much, and I didn't like how it presented that, so I apologize. The nuts and bolts of it is if you are a student sitting here, maybe you're a younger student, and maybe you're not ready. All right, you got the idea of it now. So maybe next year you'll say, let's do it next year. In the meantime, you're going to want to get an ACT score, okay? That's proving that you're ready to do this so that you can get accepted, okay? And if you're a student that wants to do it next year, you've got to get on the ACT right away and be ready. And if you want to take classes outside of our school, it's like a puzzle. For example, if Luke wanted to do the math, but he also wanted to take something on campus, all right, then we'd have to figure out your schedule because now you got drive time going back and forth, and with certain classes that you want to take here are only offered certain time of the day, and you've got athletics in the evening, and so all that has to be pieced together as best as possible, okay? So we'll work with you, but know this, that, you know, once you get accepted and once you start these classes, it's serious, and you got to get the good grades, and everything goes on your transcripts, okay? So those are some nuts and bolts of it. I'm going to pass it over to Heather from YSU, and I'm going to let Heather talk about some specifics of Youngstown State, and then Robert will speak about Kent Trumbull.
It's my pleasure to be here with you this evening. I appreciate you coming out to learn about the CCP program. Mr. Kernan mentioned the deadline, so I'm going to start there. If you picked up the YSU brochure, you'll see on the inside, the right-hand page near the top, it's got important dates and deadlines. And if you want to start in the summer of 2019, the ACT deadline is February 9th, and the SAT is March 9th. More commonly, people start in the fall. That deadline for the ACT is April 13th, the SAT is March 9th. And for spring, the ACT is April 13th and SAT is March 9th. You'll also notice that for YSU, the application deadline for summer, fall, and spring is the same, and that's April 5th of 2019. Before I start giving additional details about YSU, I'd like to add to something Mr. Kernan mentioned. When it comes to the CCP courses available here at the high school through Kent or any high school, you will need to be accepted to the university. And Robert can talk more about that, but it is not a given if your child is in a CCP class taught by a CCP certified instructor that they get CCP credit. There is an application process and the different deadlines have to be met. So I just wanted to make sure that that was clear to everybody. So the YSU CCP program is open to college-ready 7th through 12th graders who meet our specific admission requirements of a 2.0 overall unweighted GPA or higher, ACT composite score of 17, or SAT combined critical reading and math score of at least 910, and a college-ready benchmark met in at least one subject area. An ACT English of 18 would qualify you, reading of 22, or math of 22. And let me emphasize that only one of those benchmarks has to be met to get into the program, but to be able to take the full spectrum of courses available, you would need to meet the benchmark in the area of your course. And further, some of the courses at the university require higher scores than that benchmark. And I know that no one in this group said they were planning to come to campus next year, but in case you are in the future, our general biology, chemistry, or fundamentals of physics require a math ATC score of 25 rather than 22, and to take calculus on our campus requires a 27. So even more broadly than YSU, those benchmark scores do not qualify you necessarily for every class you might want to take. So talk to your guidance counselor, who will be your best friend through this process, to make sure that you're on track for your goals. The last criteria for admission to YSU is passage of state exams. Now, what if your student doesn't achieve that threshold score that I mentioned? Well, conditional eligibility might be an option at YSU. We do offer placement testing for students whose ACT does not meet that benchmark, or for students who don't take the SAT or ACT. They can also take placement tests on campus and see if they qualify that way. Conditional eligibility is also an option if the scores are, if they take the placement test and test in, it's not conditional. But if they take the ACT and they're just below the benchmark, say they get a 20 or 21 in math, then they can be accepted conditionally with a grade point average of 3.0 or higher, or with a letter of recommendation from a guidance counselor. We encourage all students to visit our website, talk with their families about the possible benefits and the risks of participating in the program. If you talk this over and decide the CCP program at YSU is a good fit for you, there are several steps for you to take. We talked about the application deadline. The application is online. You need to submit your letter of intent to your school guidance counselor by April 1st, 2019. That is a state requirement and a step that absolutely has to happen. I also want to say about that letter to the guidance counselor that There's no reason not to submit that, and as early as possible. It doesn't obligate you to participate in the program. If you change your mind after submitting it and decide not to move forward this year, there's no penalty at all. But if you don't submit it and April 1st passes, then CCP is off the table for a full year, including the spring semester. So again, no reason not to get on the radar of your guidance counselor as somebody who's interested in more information and might move forward. If you apply to YSU and get accepted, you'll get an acceptance letter from us. We strongly encourage you to open that right away. Please don't set it aside and think this is a fall thing, because that letter will give you information to open a YSU account, an email account that will provide you with information on deadlines, things that need to happen in the summer, like an appointment with an advisor to help in choosing your classes, and the CCP orientation. So activate and regularly check your email. We'll also let you know if placement tests are needed through that email. If you take high school-based courses, you're still required to meet with an academic advisor every semester, and this is a state policy. And I just want to let you know that if you are a CCP student through YSU, then you have access to all of our academic support services, including e-tutoring. So if you're in a class that is online, for example, you can have one-on-one tutoring available through the CCP program. We invite you to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at YSU CCP for program updates, deadlines, and college prep information. So I'll be at a table outside if you have any questions afterwards. I've got some brochures and information, and I just want to thank you for your kind attention. Yes, it's in the brochure, and you can even Google ysu.edu, and that will bring it right up. But I just want to show you where it is. Well, first of all, you can reach our office at CCP at ysu.edu. And the website is basically http://ysu.edu. You want to go to the CCP segment of the website and apply specifically through CCP. Yep. You know, and speaking of differences between applying as a traditional high school student and applying as a CCP student, Mr. Kernan mentioned that there is a 30 credit hour limit on what CCP will pay for every year. Now that includes summer, fall, and spring. But if a student wanted to take more than 30 credits at any point, and this is more common the senior year than any other year, but if you wanted to take more than those 30 credits and do self-pay, you as a family would be paying less than what the traditional college student would be paying for that course. It varies year to year, and the amount will come out in June. But last year, it cost about 25% for a CCP family compared to a traditional YSU student. So something to know about.
My name is Robert Ridgel. I am the CCP Advisor at Kent State Trumbull. So any student that is interested in taking classes at our campus, online, or even here at the high school, all your admissions and your scheduling and your questions will go through me. Our deadlines for fall, May 1st is the application deadline for fall 2019. April 1st for summer, if any students are thinking about taking summer classes, it's April 1st, just the same deadline as the intent form. And then October 1st for the spring semester, if any students are thinking about coming to Kent State during the middle of the year. As far as admissions requirements, students, we suggest or highly recommend students take the ACT. If you are considering taking a writing course, you want to score at least an 18 or higher in the English sub-score part of the ACT. If you're thinking about taking a psychology, sociology, history, anatomy, physiology course, any class with a high level of reading, you want to get at least a 22 or higher in your reading sub-score. If you are considering taking a math course, you want to at least score a 22 or higher in the math. And also you're going to have to take the ALEX math placement test. For the math classes that are being offered here, you need at least a 55 or higher in your ALEX math placement score to take the algebra for calculus, and a 67% or higher for the trig. But if you complete algebra for calculus here at the high school and you get a C or better in that course, then you'll be able to take the trig in the spring semester, as long as you pass algebra for calculus with a C or better. Okay. But if you are taking classes at the university and you want to go right into trig, then that's when you would have to have that ALEX score of a 67% or higher. Otherwise, you would just take algebra for calculus your first semester. Application. Our application is online on our College Credit Plus webpage. So you go to www.kent.edu/CCP. That will take you to our College Credit Plus website. Our application is online. Complete the application. There's also a CCP permission form that is on the same website. You can complete that form, download it, send it in, and then we need your official high school transcripts. So complete the application, complete the CCP permission form, and have your guidance counselor submit your official high school transcripts. Once we have all those things in, we'll be able to review your application. If you meet all the requirements, all this, to be admitted, we can admit you. You'll receive a letter, actually an admissions packet from us. It will tell you to set up will contact us for a CCP orientation. That is mandatory. So if you've taken a class on campus or online, we expect you to come to our CCP orientation on campus. If you're taking a class at the high school, I know for some of the schools I've done CCP orientations at the high schools, but I've had some students come on campus as well. So whatever works better for the school. If the students can come during the summer for CCP orientation, that's fine. We'll go through all the information about the program. You'll get a student ID. We'll get you scheduled for classes. If you're taking a class at the high school, though, I usually get a class roster from the guidance counselors, and I manually put those students in the courses so they don't actually have to meet with me to do that. So they can just, they'll know that they're in the class. Once I send I'll send the information back to the guidance counselor saying that they've been registered. Okay. Now, once you become a CC student at the university, at our campus, you are still considered a Kent State student. So you do have resources, campus resources available to you. Our Learning Center for tutoring, our campus bookstore, our library, our computer labs, our fitness center. Those are still available to you as a College Credit Plus student. So you can take advantage of those resources at the university. Also, your grades. Grades are electronic. You will not get a report card. Grades you would have to check online through our website. We have a flashline portal, student portal, for you to go through to find your grades, your midterm and final grades. We will send an official college transcript to your high school at the end of each semester, so they will receive your final grades. If you need those transcripts sent, if you are a high school senior and you're applying to other colleges and universities, you can request those transcripts be sent to those other schools so you can get credit for those courses at those other universities. Okay? And what else? Placement assessment. We do have placement assessment. If you do not meet the ACT requirements to be admitted into the CCP, you do have the option to take placement assessment. We have AccuPlacer for reading and writing placement, and then we have ALEX for math placement. So if you want to challenge your ACT scores, saying that those aren't accurate, I think I can do better, you could come on campus to take a placement test, but you would have to score high enough to be able to take that college level course at the university. So if you don't meet the ACT or the placement assessment score, you won't be eligible to take the course. Okay? Because we won't be able to admit you either. So, We've had some students take the SAT, so we can use those scores as well. We do admit students with those scores as well, so that is an option. And I'm trying to see this. Okay, books, textbooks. Your high school is actually paying for the textbooks. They are being billed for those books either through our campus bookstores or they are ordering the books for the students. So the books is not something that students actually have to pay for out of pocket. Now, if you decide to take classes outside of that 30 credit hours or more than 30 credit hours, then at that point you would be responsible for tuition and textbooks, okay, if you go over the 30-hour maximum limit, okay? All right. Now, if you have any other questions, I'll be here at the table out here. I have handouts for all the things that I just covered. I have a list of our courses that we offer through College Credit Plus, some of the uniform state requirements for CCP, our checklists, our admissions requirements, and I also have the information about the first 15 and level 1 courses. Did we talk about that? Okay. The first 15, which you might have seen in the PowerPoint, are classes that are allowable when students first start the program. Those are classes that that are transferable. They're under the Ohio Transfer Module, classes that would transfer to any other public state institution in Ohio. So generally, those are the core classes that students usually need for bachelor's degrees programs. So those are the first 15 hours that they can take while they're in the program. Once they can complete that first 15, then they're allowed to go into level 2, and that will be classes, any class that they meet the prerequisite for, that they have interest in at that point they could take outside of that first 15, okay? Generally, I try to stick to classes that I know will transfer to other state institutions in Ohio for the first 15, so I know the students will get credit for those classes if they decide to go somewhere else besides Kent State. And then once they get past that, if they have a pathway where they're looking into a major program that they know they want to go into, once they go into college, we can look at them taking classes towards that major. So I have a lot of students right now who know they want to go into nursing. So I've had a few students the last couple of years do all their prereqs for nursing during their junior and senior year in high school. Then they were able to apply to our nursing program as incoming freshmen. So they got a year, basically a year of school, college out the way, and it was paid for, and they were able to get right into the nursing program. So if you know that's something you want to do, we can gear your classes towards one of those programs. Okay? All right. If you guys have any other questions, I will be outside at the table. Okay?
A couple things that I want to emphasize. As you apply to either YSU or Kent, the student is going to get an email account once they're accepted or apply. Once they are admitted, if you get admitted, the student will have an email account. And it's very important for that student to check their email either through YSU or Kent, because basically at this point I'm trying to facilitate, Mr. Nicholson's trying to facilitate, and then once you get accepted, I don't see most of the correspondence at all between the university and student. So a lot of times the university will be sending these emails about, hey, you got to get an orientation scheduled, you got to do this, you got to do that. I don't get that, but the student gets that. So if they're not opening up their email and checking that, they're missing things that they need to be doing. So if you get accepted, check your university email often. And the other thing I was going to talk to you about is that orientation. YSU makes them come to campus no matter what, right? Oh, really? Is that new for orientation? Okay. So we would recommend come to campus and see campus, both for Kent Trumbull and YSU. Robert talked about coming out and doing an orientation with the kids. Whatever we got to do, we can do, and we'll talk about that later. But you do need to go through an orientation, okay? We've had students that got accepted and never did an orientation, and we had to kick them out of the program because it's a requirement to go through an orientation. So check your email. All that stuff will be in the email, okay? Did you have something? Yeah, yeah, we're taking that February 20th. Yeah. Yeah, it usually sneaks in there. Yeah. Okay. Miss McDougall is right here. She teaches our math. And afterwards, if you have any questions for her concerning math, again, she'll be teaching that next year. Okay? So does anybody have any questions for me? So I'm a step-by-step guy. All right, so if I'm sitting here, my first step is I got to turn a letter of intent in. All right? So again, there's no harm, no foul by turning that letter of intent in to me tonight. By doing that, you're not committed to anything, but you got it in. That's one less thing you got to worry about. Then the second thing is, I got to make sure I get an ACT score, so I got to make sure I got to register. So now I got to register for the ACT. Okay? After I register for the ACT, I'm going to want to apply, whether it's to Kent, YSU, or both. You could apply to both. Get my application in. So once I apply, then I'm going to find out where do I stand. And they may have to wait for the ACT scores to come in to make a decision on your acceptance. Once I get accepted, I'm checking my emails, and I'm doing whatever they're telling me to do. Come to an orientation. Come meet for an advisor appointment. Come do this for a schedule. Meet with your guidance counselor to make sure this is accepted, a good class for you to take. Things like that. Okay? So that's kind of the step-by-step thing. Who has any questions before we take off? Anybody have any questions? And we're always here. Call us if you need us. And if we don't know the answer, we'll get right back with you. Okay? Thank you, guys. Go home, have dinner, get under a blanket, and get warm.